Hey everyone, Steve here from My Crypto World. Well, today, welcome back to our top crypto news stories for the week. Today we've got two for you to look at. Actually, there's four in total, one regarding Bitcoin and three relating to XRP. All that right after this. Okay, so the first news article is related to Bitcoin, as I said. The article goes on to talk about the richest Bitcoin whale in existence now has over $2.73 billion in Bitcoin after a massive series of transactions. Now, the reason I bring and highlight stories like this up to you is to show you that somebody in the market knows something. You don't go out and buy that much Bitcoin without having some type of understanding of what Bitcoin may be doing in the future and where the prices may get to. So considering that Bitcoin and the market in total has been down for a little while now, really important article to sort of get your head around. The article goes on to say that the world's largest non-exchange Bitcoin whale, so non-exchange, so it's not a major exchange that's holding all these things, it's an individual or possibly a company of an individual. Exchange Bitcoin whale now holds over $2 billion worth of Bitcoin after a string of massive transactions earlier this month. According to crypto data platform BitInfo Charts, the whale has added 2,554 Bitcoin since this June 14th, so over the last 3 weeks. The richest non-exchange Bitcoin whale currently holds a total of 130,227 Bitcoin, or 0.68% of the current market supply. This is the world's third largest Bitcoin whale after the wallets belonging to Binance and Bitfinex crypto exchanges. According to crypto analyst Sentiment, the crypto market downturn has triggered an increase in the number of Bitcoin whales. Sentiment says the rise in the number of whales holding more than 10,000 Bitcoin started in February, while the increase in the number of addresses holding between 10 and 10,000 Bitcoin began earlier this month. So what that sort of highlights to me is that there are a lot of people in the market, a lot of newbies, that are now getting into and buying a lot of cryptocurrency in the form of Bitcoin. 6 months ago, it would have been near impossible for many people to even own one Bitcoin. Now at $20,000, it's not that it's not impossible. $20,000 per Bitcoin is still expensive for many people. Excuse me, but there'd be a lot more people that could afford it. And to go out and buy 10 Bitcoin might be very possible for a lot more people out there in the marketplace. So whales and more addresses are picking this asset up, which is interesting reading, which may also correlate to the slight price increase we've seen in the last 7 days. The next three articles, again, is all about Ripple and XRP. Now, we've covered a number of stories off over the last few weeks regarding XRP, but these stories still keep coming out. So the first one today is XRP is up more than 10% after Ripple announces plans. So the chatter around Ripple has increased this week amid important news development regarding the company. The SEC draws closer to a statement regarding the long-standing lawsuit against Ripple, as well as the company's latest announcements regarding its plans in Canada. XRP has unsurprisingly experienced significant upside in the last couple of days. Ripple has also announced earlier this week that it has plans to have a presence in Canada. This will come in the form of a Toronto-based engineering hub. The two different announcements may have contributed to more excitement regarding XRP. And down the bottom here it says the uptick in XRP's price is a sign that the community is excited about the probability of announcements in favour of Ripple, talking about the Ripple lawsuit. A positive outcome might fuel a bigger gain, hence why the subject has received so much attention. The number of active XRP addresses also increased significantly. The number of active addresses was as low as 27,602 on the 21st of June, and it's now peaked at 51,332 on the 23rd of June. So in a matter of a couple of days, the number of people holding XRP as a investment on their ledgers or in their portfolios has almost doubled. So pretty positive news for XRP there. Now, there are two other stories that relate to this. The first one is regarding their lawsuit. Meanwhile, the article goes on to talk about that. Meanwhile, on Monday, the Securities Investment Exchange Commission Chair, Gary Gensler, made what many may consider a game-changing statement that might clear up some uncertainty in the crypto market. In a recent CNBC interview addressing crypto regulation, Gensler signaled out Bitcoin as the only cryptocurrency he would label as a commodity. Some like Bitcoin, and that's the only one I'm going to say. My predecessors and others have said they're a commodity, he said. The rest of the cryptocurrencies, he added, should be classified as securities and regulated by the SEC. Many of these financial assets, crypto financial assets, have key attributes of a security. The investing public is hoping for a return, just like when they invest into other financial assets we call securities. So this is the first time Gensler has come out and said that Bitcoin he would consider as a commodity. So it's interesting news. It's probably given, I would imagine, a lot of people a bit more certainty or clarity around how the SEC is thinking about this case. The problem the SEC obviously are going to have is if they do go down that path and they do win the XRP lawsuit, well, what does that say for all the other securities out there in the market, all the other cryptocurrencies? Are they also now securities as well? I just feel it's really unfortunate that they've singled out XRP in all of this, but we'll see where that goes. So it's interesting if you're into the legal side of cryptocurrencies. It does provide a lot more clarity around where their headspace is at. And finally, what I think is probably the biggest news article to hit about XRP. This came out 2 days ago. The article goes on to say that XRP's latest milestone is actually huge, says a legal expert, Jeremy Hogan. And the article goes on to say that XRP's ledger's latest milestone is, here we go, commenting on XRP Ledger being used for Colombia's land registry system. Hogan noted that it's a perfect example of crypto utility. Earlier this week, blockchain developer Peerset Technology announced that in collaboration with Ripple, it inked a deal with the Colombian government to deploy the country's national land registry on the XRP ledger. So this is going to be huge, and if this is this is where it all starts for XRP, well, good on them. But you could see, as I read through this article, how this could be adopted around the world and would save literally hundreds of millions of dollars in stamp duties and government expenditure on legal documentation regarding property purchasing. In a thread shared with over his 215,000 followers on Twitter, Hogan noted that the development is actually huge as it creates an immutable record of land registration that's searchable, inherently trustworthy, and time-stamped. In his thread, Hogan noted that transferring land is accomplished through a complicated, time-consuming process in which buyers must be noted and the titles being transferred as well as actual property must be described, with all this information being kept in some searchable manner by the local government. It ends up in a complicated system for which the consequences of small errors are catastrophic and can lead to years of litigation. Now, for those of you, I would imagine many people on this channel have owned or bought property in the past. You know that you've got to go through the land registry title. It just depends where you are in the world. Every country's got its own unique way of doing it. But trying to search for a land title, or what happens if your title goes missing for your house. Let's say you've owned your home and you've kept your title in your property and it burns down. What do you do? What happens when we've all heard horror stories of people moving into a home, they've lived there for 5 years, only to be told later that they're actually living in the wrong house because somebody made an error on the register. So all that sort of stuff, and also the cost of it. I don't know what it's like in the rest of the world, but the cost of stamp duty in Australia is ridiculously high. We might pay our government $50,000 to buy a typical home in Australia, and it's because there is so much infrastructure, paper infrastructure in the back end to make sure that everything's done properly. So stamp duty a long time ago was, you paid $1 or something like that for your name to be registered against the property, and over the course of 200 years, that has now grown up to be significantly higher than that. So Not only do we pay high taxes in Australia of up to 48%, we also have to pay our government a lot of money just to own our own home, which is just crazy. So that's good news. As Crypto Globe reported, the panel of cryptocurrency industry experts has predicted that the price of XRP will hit $2.55 by the end of the year, that's 2022, and sees it going as high as $3.61 by the end of 2025 and $4.98 by the end of 2030 if the lawsuit is settled. So that's really interesting. It's going to be good to follow this story and see where it goes, and to see how Colombia's property system adjusts to this type of cryptocurrency being used on the blockchain to register sale and purchases and sales of property assets throughout their country. I think it'll streamline a lot of things as long as they get the metrics right. They employ everything that they need to for that. I also think that it's going to, if other countries can use Colombia as a test case to see how much that has helped the economy by saving a lot of money, and also, like the article said earlier, up to the very top there, it makes an immutable record of land registration. It's searchable, it's inherently accurate, and very, very trustworthy. So no more missing files or title deeds for houses if everything goes according to plan. So, I mean, you could expect something like this to take quite a while to implement. It's not going to, while the story's announced and the deal is done, it's certainly not going to be an overnight success. I would suspect that over the next 6 to 12 months, they're going to really finalise all the nitty-gritty details of what needs to be included before they actually launch that live for it to take part in the Colombian economy. Well, that's it for today's quick crypto recaps. We'll see you in our next article in a couple of days' time. Until then, take care. Cheers.